You want me to put that on my Tudor?
Harry's wife. Your lightbulb moment. Many people are involved with narcissists and they don't have a clue. They know that something's wrong with the person's behaviour. They see that the individual vacillates between different positions, blowing hot and cold. Suddenly they can't be gotten hold of. Next they return with declarations of love, then vanish again. In other instances, they attack a person they supposedly love. That once upon a time everything was amazing and wonderful and magical. And now that person shouts and screams, perhaps lashes out with fists and feet, steals money, is cheating. The behaviours are unpleasant. Yet, the victim doesn't realise what it is they're actually dealing with. So often, they attribute it to something they've done wrong, blaming themselves. Perhaps I've not been as interested in this person. Maybe I've been nagging them too much. As they self-flagellate, blaming themselves for perceived shortcomings that they conjure up, or that they give credence to the false accusations that are levelled at them by the narcissist. In other instances, they put it down to something else. Maybe he's just tired because he's working so much. Maybe she's under a lot of pressure at work. Maybe it's difficulties within the family that are impacting upon that person. Repeatedly, the individual fails to understand that they are dealing with a narcissist. Some people go their entire lives not realizing that they're involved with one or more narcissists. They fail to recognize that they have a string of relationships with narcissists, that a parent was a narcissist. They just think that they have the misfortune of always attracting difficult people, people with anger management issues, people who are high maintenance. However, there are many others who have that light bulb moment, a sudden realization that they are dealing with a narcissist. Or at least they have a light bulb moment in terms of something happened which caused them to realize this just isn't right. And it then set them off on a trail of inquiry, invariably through the internet, searching certain terms that then brought them to the door marked narcissism. What's this, they ask. And they push open that door and go down the rabbit hole. It might be, for instance, they had Googled, why does my husband give me silent treatments? Or, why is the man dating me blowing hot and cold? These queries often lead to the door marked narcissism. And then the individual goes within and reads, and almost has that hand-to-mouth moment of, OMG, this is precisely what has happened. So many times people have come to my work and have remarked, it's as if you were there, HG. Or, you can read my mind. Or, are you my narcissist? The clarity and accuracy by which you've recounted what has happened is as if you were the abuser. This, of course, is a consequence of my ability to convey to you the various facets and aspects of narcissism because of what I am and because of all of the research that I've undertaken in that regard. For those people, they have that moment of realization. For some, it's called the full horror moment, that there is something so awful that they've learned about the behavior of that other person that it strikes at the very heart of the relationship, that it causes them to look at them in a completely different light. It might cause them to think, because they've got some background information, I'm dealing with a narcissist, or at least they realize this relationship isn't what I thought it was, and they go away and do their own research, which causes them to find out about narcissism. It's a moment that's so shocking that it jolts them out of that emotional thinking. It jolts them out of the fog, if only for a few moments, so that it causes them then to look at what they're actually dealing with. For others, it's less of a shocking moment, not so much a full horror moment, and if you want to understand more about the full horror moment, please watch my video of that name. But for others, there's a moment where the light bulb came on. I suddenly realised, hang on, this person's a problem, this person is an abuser, and indeed, this person is a narcissist. This happens in relation to people's romantic partners, often a member of their family, sometimes somebody in their friendship group, somebody that they work with, a boss or a colleague, sometimes a neighbour. But usually that light bulb moment comes in relation to a romantic relationship or a family member, as those are the most common elements of where people come across narcissists in their lives. For those of you listening, you have come across Harry's wife as a narcissist. Some of you may not have ever dealt with narcissists in your lives, and you're just interested in the behaviours of Harry's wife because you find her an odious and unpleasant individual and you want to learn more. Some of you have been involved with narcissists, and my Harry's Wife series has caused you to realise that. I've received many emails from people who've explained, I didn't realise that there was a narcissist in my life until I came across your series involving Harry's wife. For many of you, you knew about narcissism, you realised that there was a narcissist in some aspect of your life, and you've seen this further explained through the Harry's Wife series. But in relation to Harry's wife, as you know, I called out her as a narcissist at a very early juncture. That I told the world what she was, and did so supported by evidence and examples, and ever since have repeatedly shown how her behaviour demonstrates her narcissism, but also I've explained her behaviour for you through the prism of her narcissism. For many people, it has taken my work to tell them that Harry's wife is a narcissist. But they may well have recognised that something wasn't quite right about her. There was something that was odd about her behaviours. They had their own light bulb moment with regard to Harry's wife. Something flicked inside and they thought, don't like what I see. She's a wrong 'un. Something's off here. For instance, examples of this on the St. Harry's Wife subreddit were provided in response to the question by scholar number 686, what was your biggest light bulb moment with Meghan and has been? And to give you some of the examples, one individual explains it was clearing the seats at Wimbledon. Another, the Netflix curses seen round the world. It doesn't matter where you are from, no culture in the world mocks grandma. Another states, the interview in South Africa. No one asked me if I was okay. Another responds, saying she didn't know anything about Harry during their engagement interview. Another explains that their light bulb moment was the fact that there was only her mother and one friend, Jessica Mulrooney, at the wedding. Not one aunt, cousin, no one. Red flag. Someone piggybacks off that, adding, and inviting a bunch of people that she didn't know who just happened to be wealthy and influential. She might as well have worn a sign saying, I use people. Another Redditor adds, when they announced the pregnancy at Eugenie's wedding, the height of rudeness, no class, I completely wiped them off at that moment. Another adds, it was when she dismissed her $46 million publicly funded royal wedding as a spectacle during the Oprah interview. The utter lack of gratitude was galling. I knew then that nothing would ever satisfy her. Another Redditor adds, the engagement interview. It's so fake, phony, gross. She was grabbing his hand and squeezing to direct him what to say. Losers. Another person adds, I had an instant dislike of her for no good reason from the get-go. Attractive woman, lovely although ill-fitting wedding dress, something about her rubbed me the wrong way. I had no idea of her acting, never watched Suits, and had no idea she was ethnic. Another person, it was Megxit. It reminded me of my narc mother, who used to leave anywhere whenever she was pissed off at something. One time my mum threw her napkin on the floor and stormed out of a restaurant because they were out of the soup of the day. What restaurant still has soup of the day at 11 p.m. that night? Somebody else adds, it was her white wedding. Another goes back to the engagement interview, saying that that had quite a few red flags in it. So some examples there of what stood out for people, and you'll note at least one person drawing the parallel between the behaviours that they'd experienced vis-a-vis a narcissist and seeing it with Harry's wife. But what about you, valuable viewers? What was the light bulb moment for you in terms of recognising that Harry's wife was either a narcissist or at the very least that you recognised there was something untoward, something off about her behaviour, something that perhaps made your skin crawl? Share your observations in the comments, and I'll be interested to see if there is a common thread in terms of a particular instance which really stood out as a huge red flag for people. Share your observations, and I may well collate them and comment on them in due course. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.